I'm about to go ham.
H-A-M. Plant-based face-off, you guys know the drill. Welcome back. This week we're looking at ham. Something for vegans and veggies to fill their sandwiches up with that doesn't involve a crying animal. Straight off the bat, Quorn, we know their game, and their game is smoky ham slices. Second up, we have Squeaky Bean. We know what they're about too. They're previous winners on plant-based face-off, and they've come in with their New York deli pastrami style slices. I couldn't find 3 different smoked ham equivalents, so this is the next closest I could find. Tofurky, bit of a rad name, bit of a rad brand you got here. They're smoked ham slices. So we've got smoked ham versus pastrami versus smoked ham. It's the best I could do, guys. Okay, just get off my back. I'm gonna be trying these out the way that back in the day I would have had ham anyway. Straight out of the pack, snacking on it, dangling it above my mouth. First up is Quorn's totally vegan smoky ham slices. Now we know all about Quorn, they will have a crack at anything, so why not ham? Now looking at it, out the pack, it looks very plasticky, a bit Play-Doh-y maybe, on the face of it. There is a bit of texture in there, there's a little bit of sort of dampness, I want to say, moistness. I know everyone loves that word, don't they? Moistness. But it doesn't look just like ham, straight off the bat. Now the actual texture, you can see that it does split up nicely into actual ham pieces. It's got these sort of weird gaps where normally it would be a bit of sort of transparent fat or whatever. And from tearing it, that sort of tears basically how ham would. So far it's going well. It tastes about right. Maybe a bit of a subtle ham taste. I'm not getting a lot of smokiness, but I think that would probably do the job in a sandwich. The texture though isn't the same. It's got enough sort of substance to it, but it's not the same. It's not chewy at all. It does mash up in your mouth. Next up, it is Squeaky Bean's pastrami. Now, I couldn't find another ham, and this was the closest thing to go in a sandwich. And if you look at the packet, there's a sandwich on it. This is supposed to be like pastrami. Now I did a bit of a Google search of pastrami pictures just to get a bit of a like for like. And let's face it, it doesn't look particularly like pastrami. Similar colour, similar idea, not the same result. They've cut it into a weird sort of cloud shape. And when you peel it off, it does resemble some form of sort of deli style meat. It's got a very distinct smell and it's not like ham. They've done everything they can to make it into that nice sort of deli meat that you get when you get a nice spread with cheese and things like that. Salty, but also quite sweet. It's not too far off the sort of deli meat that you get. And it's even got that very slight, faint, peppery hit. Texture-wise, it does sort of come apart quite well, quite like deli meat would. Just a bit less chewy than normal deli meat because there's no fat in it, which I suppose is actually a bit of a Billy bonus. And finally, it's Tofurky's plant-based deli-style smoked ham. Now this stuff is slightly different in the format, comes in a box in a sealed, hardcore plastic packet. And this has actually got quite a bit of moisture to it, just like ham. Now when you take the slices out, it behaves a bit more like ham in that it's got a bit more weight to it, a bit heavier, a bit thicker maybe, a bit more stretch to it. All in, not too bad, quite hammy if that's a word. I don't know if I've just coined a phrase there. It's a bit hammy. The smell is very smoky actually. You'd be hard pressed to tell this wasn't necessarily ham. Bit of a weird colour, bit of a weird orangey colour going on. But you could just say it's smoked and then people would just be like, yeah, okay, cool. So the texture of this stuff is awesome. It's exactly like ham. I'd go that far. Shoot me, I'm the messenger. But seriously, you can properly chew it up and sink your teeth into it and it sort of holds its shape a bit. Initially, you get quite a good smoky, hammy hit on your tongue. But there is a bit of a quirky aftertaste I can't put my finger on. I don't know if it's just my personal preference. I don't know if I think it's too smoky. Yeah, I can't work it out. I can't work it out because the texture is so spot on. So it was a tough one this week, I'm not gonna lie, but we're talking about sandwiches here. So I've got to be serious, I've got to be thoughtful, and I've got to be considerate. So the winner of this week's plant-based face-off ham is Squeaky Bean. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a minefield to tell you which one was the winner. I went for Squeaky Bean in the end because I think it tastes the nicest. And if you're gonna put something in your sandwich, you want it to taste nice. The Quorn ham wasn't far off because it tasted fairly good. The texture wasn't great, but in a sandwich, you're whacking pickles in, you're whacking cheese in, you're whacking lettuce, tomatoes, all of that bollocks. So you wouldn't necessarily notice it. The closest to the OG has to be the Tofurky ham, but it's just let itself down with that strange aftertaste, that sort of too smoked flavour. I wanted it to win because the texture, honestly, was amazing. I'd say buy it just for that. Just for that, buy it for the texture. But the winner overall, Squeaky Bean, a nice pastrami flavour. It'll taste good in your sandwich. Go and get yourself some. Guys, thanks for joining me on this wonderful ham journey. I'll catch you in the next one.